Good morning, all. Um, I'm gonna do a vlog video. I've done a couple of these in the past, as you'll see on the channel, um, mainly on chronic illness, and this is gonna be a video of in the day of somebody with chronic illness. Let me explain briefly what I've got. So I have a condition, my main condition that causes me all the problems is called fibromyalgia. And what that is basically my nervous system is overacting. So there's many levels of fibromyalgia. You'll have some people that cannot even manage to walk, others who have it who live a perfectly normal life and you wouldn't even know they have it. They can take one Panadol a day and they'll be fine. Others will need to take things like fentanyl, codeine, urine inhibitors such as Lyrica. There are even cases of people having to take things like methadone, which is what they use for heroin addicts, basically, but it helps alleviate the pain as well. But very, very strong painkillers, as you can imagine. Now, you'll probably hear in the background there's something playing, and this is because it's the only way I can sleep at night, is by having things on. Because generally I'll wake up about 5 to 10 times a night if I manage to sleep. And in those cases, I need something on just to distract me, to keep me sort of sane, so to say. Last night was a pretty bad night. I was in so much pain I could barely sleep, mainly because all my skin was hurting. And it's hard to explain skin hurting. It's not like an itchy skin, it's not like eczema or something like that. It's more like a sharp pain for me, where just even the slightest touch, if my hair flips forward and hits me like that, it literally hurts and causes me discomfort. Bed sheets, the bed sheets touch me. Sorry, I am topless right now. I am in bed. I've just woken up and decided to do this for some reason. So, yes, I'll hide my shame under my bed sheets because I am English and I do feel shame for showing any kind of skin other than my face, of course. But yeah, last night even my bed sheets were causing me pain. Just the simple act of my bed sheets touching me was causing me enough pain to stop me from sleeping. Um, so, that's a very bad night for a flare. And a flare up is just basically what we call, when you've got a chronic illness, you just call it when it's really bad. Um, Now, on top of all that, I've got osteoporosis as well, which is where your bones are very sort of thin and they don't have density. And it causes your bones to break really easily. They're very brittle, basically. It's brittle bone disease. And that's caused from my kidneys, which leach the calcium and give me kidney stones. So that's fun. I also have chronic fatigue syndrome as well, which means I'm tired all the time. So even if I have the best sleep in the world, and I sleep for, I don't know, 12 hours, the recommended sleep time or something like that, and I wake up at the correct time, naturally, to birds singing, just a normal wake up for everybody else. I will wake up as tired as anything. Getting out of bed right now is really hard. I've been awake for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just laying here trying to get the energy to actually get out of bed. Also, my back is aching, so it's getting that initial push to get out of bed as well. In my back, I've got a couple of fractures from a bike accident when I was younger. I came off a BMX bike and I landed neck first on the curbing, and then the bike landed on my back, and the handlebar landed straight on my lower back and fractured that disc. And like a normal kid, I just carried on. Went and put a bag of peas on my neck, and was more worried about my bike. And it wasn't until 6 months later that I had an X-ray, and they were like, "Oh, when did you break your back?" And I'm like, "I'd never broken my back." And they said, "Oh, you got two fractures. They're healed, but just be careful." And I was like, "Okay, well that's good news, I guess." But yeah, I get a lot of back pain. I also have I have a lot of discs that have ruptured. Um, there's also quite a common back condition called spondylolisthesis, which is where your spine, instead of being straight, it's a little bit bent. So it goes down and then it has a kink in it and then continues going down. Um, so a little bit like a U shape in your back. And normally that shouldn't cause any problems, but some people it can cause a lot of pain. It basically shortens your calf muscles, things like that, makes them tighter. So it's very hard to stretch them. But also, tenses the muscles in the back and all that kind of crap too. So it makes you very. If you have a secondary condition on top of things, it can make life very very hard. Um, so this video is just going to be an average day in the life of. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you find it interesting. I'm doing this as part of just disability awareness, really, because I am disabled. Yay! I hate saying it. I hate thinking about it, but it is true. And unfortunately, I am getting worse now. I'm in my early 30s, which is nice. I'm actually 32 now. Um, and back when I was in my early 20s to mid 20s, I was actually pretty active, pretty healthy, and you wouldn't know that I had conditions sometimes. I would be able to party with the best of them, and it would cause some problems now and again. I'd have bad days. The worst ones were usually when there was a severe weather change, but you wouldn't have known that I was ill. I've been sick I've been sick forever. I had a really bad school time because I was constantly sick. Um, some of these conditions, also some other conditions as well, but I spent most of my school life at home, sick. Um, Simply because I was very ill. And doctors were like, "Oh, you're probably not going to make it past 20, all this stuff, all the fun stuff you want to hear as a kid." Um, but proved that wrong, made it to 32, so let's see if we can make it a bit longer. But yeah, I've lived a pretty normalish life as I can, but I'm on the downward curve at the moment, and it's getting harder and harder to do things, everyday things, and it's getting harder to work now as well. I do work. This is one of my days off though, so this is not a work day video. I may do one of those in the future as well. But to give you some idea about how hard it is, I worked 2 days in a row last week. I worked Friday and Saturday. First time I've done that, so about 2 or 3 years. And I worked early morning Saturday and sorry, early morning Friday, and then normal hours on Saturday. My normal hours are 12 till 5. I only do 5 hour shifts. On Saturday, sorry, I'm trying to get it so I don't look so fat, which is impossible because I'm chubby. Um, but on the Friday, I worked 9 till 1, and that was really hard for me because waking up early is not a good thing for me. If I wake up early, I've usually only got about 3 or 4 hours of solid sleep. I may have been in bed for like 12 hours or so, but I've probably only got about 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So yeah, that pushed me to the limits of my physical abilities, and I actually ended up in hospital Saturday night. I basically, my back went into spasm and I blacked out, passed out. My housemate, who I do some videos with, as you know, Steam and Sticks, Steph, she got me to hospital, and I ended up spending the night in the emergency department, being looked after because I kept passing out from pain, and they had to help ease the pain and get me through the night. Um, so yeah, fun stuff. Anyway, let's continue with the day. I will be back again soon. All right. It's about 11:30 now in the morning. I finally managed to get out of bed and get up and get some movement going. And God knows what I got on my cheek. Um, and just making some coffee, the lifeblood of everything. Um, yeah, so it's coffee and some, well, not much, but a few bits of remnants of some yogurt for breakfast today. Because I'm really not feeling like much solid food. So one of the other problems you have when you've got the chronic illness... Sorry, it's very hard to look at the camera with this phone, because the camera's right at the top, and I always look at the screen, not the camera, and it's very hard. So I do apologise, my eyes are slightly off-centre all the time. So, nice big cup of brown joy there. Not the tea variant, of course, though, but just a coffee. Oh, find a spoon from somewhere, I'm sure. So yeah, sort of most mornings, can be pretty hard for actually eating as well, because that's another thing that people don't realise with chronic illness and stuff like that. Especially when it's pain related, is it's very hard to eat some days, and you wouldn't know by looking at me. I mean, look, I'm not exactly slim, but that's mainly because I tend to snack a lot or eat not great food, because sometimes it's just too hard to actually prepare a meal, so I end up just eating toast or something like that. But it's quite hard to actually eat in the mornings, especially when first waking up. Sort of breakfast, stuff like that can be really hard. So I usually go with yogurt, because I find it's generally pretty light and easy to eat. Sometimes I have a bit of muesli with it, things like that. Anyway, that's the morning update done, so we will be back eventually. Alrighty. And speaking of morning rituals, right now I'm performing my daily routine of checking YouTube and also logging into War Thunder, of course. So that's my desktop. If you ever wondered what it looked like, I've got my one of my glory days up there of the Le Mans 2001, back when you'll see up there a few signatures from the actual Bentley garage. That one was. They let me into the garage because I was working for a racing team called Penske at the time. If you know motorsport, you'll know Penske, no doubt. I was working for Penske in Poole, in England, working for their development department and their carbon fibre department, making parts of the cars. Back before I got too disabled, I did everything I could when I was younger. So yeah, that was a good time. But yeah, I was working for Penske at the time. One of the guys actually recognised me from Bentley, because I think he'd been down or talking to somebody or been in the shop when I was working. He was like, "Don't you work at Penske?" And chatting away. Anyway, so ended up getting into the garage during the race and spent about 5 or 6 hours in the Bentley garage during Le Mans 2001, which was one of the most incredible things of my life. Yeah, that was a really good day. Yeah, really good way of talking away into a motorsport home. But yeah, got to see Martin Brundle and Andy Wallace mid-race. Martin Brundle just broke down when I actually got there, and so he was not in the best of moods. He was on the phone talking to ITV, I think it was, I think it was ITV, because he was talking about getting back for the Grand Prix somewhere, and he was saying, "Look, I can do it. The car's just broken down." So it was really bizarre. It was just the oddest thing in the world. Yeah, but Andy Wallace was an absolute legend of a bloke. Met him in his motorhome briefly, and he signed the menu for me. Got some shepherd's pie and a nice cup of coffee and tea from them as well, so that was fantastic. And then the next day I broke my ankle. while I was jumping over the fence, and the Bentley doctor looked after me and got my ankle fixed up as Derek Bell was talking to me. It was a bizarre day, bizarre set of circumstances. I know it's crazy, but that's how many of my stories in my life goes. Anyway, so that's my morning ritual. Anyway, as I said, getting a daily login boxes and maybe playing a quick game of War Thunder, and just carrying on really. Alrighty, see you again shortly. Well, just got home from the doctor's. It's now almost 3 p.m. I got to the doctor's about 12, I think, about midday-ish. Just simply to get a medical certificate because I didn't manage work yesterday, and to get some more painkillers because that's what my life is basically, is eating painkillers. So I'm just doing the washing up at the moment. Yeah, this is a pretty average day, you know. I managed to get to the shops. You know, it's probably one of my good days, in all honesty. One of my better days, I should say, where I can actually do a few things. I'm seeing if a friend wants to come over a bit later and might make some food. Because being that I'm feeling okay, might try and make something decent tonight. I'm thinking maybe some pasta or something like that. As you can see, I don't look great. I walked into the chemist and they said, "Oh, we're doing better than you today then, obviously," because I looked like absolute crap. But yeah, it's not the worst day. It's a little bit warm today as well, actually. We've had a couple of colder days, so that is helping me, especially with the arthritis sections. It's a nice, beautiful Australian day. I mean, we'll just look out the window here, as you can see. It's all pretty and blue and sunny and full of skin cancer out there. So yeah, it's not going too badly all in all. I've had to take quite a few painkillers to get to this point, and yeah, just a normal day really. So yeah, this is my update for now, and we will get back for some more later. Just hitting about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I'm starting to really drop down quite a bit. Crashing, as it's called. I actually had a couple of games of War Thunder, but I can't aim at the moment, just because I'm a little bit too shaky. I'm basically missing shots and things like that. You know, it's one of the problems when you've got fibro, is you have sometimes with it you have control issues. You know, my left hand's not been too bad lately, hence the phone not being too wobbly, but I do tend to need to use two hands to keep it relatively steady, especially when it starts to get bad. I'm probably going to have a nap, see how I do after that. Hopefully I will eat something this evening as well. Thread there on my chest. T-shirt falling apart. Yeah, I managed to do the washing up and stuff, so that was good. I've not managed to eat lunch though, so I'm probably gonna just have dinner tonight, and yeah, I'll see where I go from there. So I got into around about 7 o'clock now. Been a long day. I had a bit of a nap. Friend came around to grab a couple of things. We had a bit of a chat for a while. And I'm just gonna try and make some dinner now. I said that I think about 3 hours ago that I was gonna try and make some food, but literally, other than my friend popping around to grab some things and talking to him, I've not been able to do anything else. Getting to that stage where I'm actually hungry. I think I'm just gonna chuck a frozen pizza in the oven and just go with that for tonight, because it seems like a simple thing to do. But now comes the hard part of actually leaving this chair and getting to the freezer and the oven and getting everything started. Let's see how well we do. Well, it's taken almost an hour to get up. I've managed to put the oven on, and right now I'm gonna, well, I would find the pizza if I could remember which fridge I'd put it in. Gonna grab myself pizza from the freezer.
Now, one thing that I do have, and I would always suggest it to any fellow spoonies if you're watching, any fellow chronic illness people, is if you make decent sized portions. I'm trying to do this without all of the things falling out of the freezer. So this was shepherd's pie I made. I just have that stuck in the freezer just for real emergencies if I need some actual decent food. Tonight I'm having a ristorante pizza quattro formaggi. 4 cheese pizza, because I like cheese. But again, things like soups. This is pumpkin soup, I think it was. Carrot or coriander or something like that. It's really good to actually make just that little bit more and then save it for a real bad crash day, or if you are crashing out at night or something and need actual food. It's a really good little option that you can get away with sometimes. And it tends to give you something that you can actually eat that's actually decent for you. I must admit, I've not eaten well today. I had the yogurt this morning for breakfast. That was something at least. And then I had a couple of coffees, and that's been my my day of food. So yeah, not probably the best day for recording. A day in the life of. Because as I say, I've obviously not eaten very well, but this is a pretty average day all in all. This is what life is like when you've got a chronic illness. Let's switch on the fan. You just, it started out as a relatively not bad day, like I wasn't too terrible, but right now I've completely dropped. My bed is an absolute mess just for medical stuff. This is my medical drawer as well. I have pills scattered everywhere. Different pills for different things. And one of the worst things about having a chronic illness is when you're taking so many pills, you end up needing anti-nausea pills, because all the pill combinations actually can cause you sickness and make you unwell. So you need to take a pill for a pill that you're taking, basically, which is just so counterintuitive. You just feel like you're just going mad sometimes, because you take a pill for this, a pill for that, and a pill for another thing. One thing that actually happened to me a couple of years back, I had a very major concussion. You may remember it if you watch my War Thunder videos. I think probably back when I was doing the swordfish video, I think it was, or something like that. It was a while ago anyway. No, it was a Matilda. Sorry, I did a Matilda video while I was concussed. I think I did a history of the Matilda, and I was suffering from a concussion. The concussion lasted me for about a year, because I was suffering from post-concussive syndrome, which is basically where you have a concussion, you're no longer concussed, but you have the issue of it, and that was thanks to these beauties, pregabalin, Lyrica. Now, it's a really good medication, but it's a neuron inhibitor, so it stops the brain cells working as hard, so it can help, especially with fibromyalgia. It stops the brain cells from firing up as much, so you can actually get some seriously good help from it. Unfortunately, when you got brain damage, or you cause an issue, or you damage your head, or things like that, concussion basically, it doesn't let the brain cells regenerate as quick. So when you're on it, you can find that you get a little bit drowsy and things like that at first, and then it's all fine. But if you have a major head injury, like a concussion, sometimes it can stop the brain from repairing itself, basically, and you end up being concussed for a lot longer. So I stopped that for about 2 weeks, and I was fine. My mental ability came back to me. So yeah, that was a really interesting one. So what I've been doing is I've been sat here at my computer, watching some really crap comedy, Trailer Park Boys. If you've seen it, you know what it's like. It's just a bit silly, really, just something to really watch. My desk chair is probably my most comfortable spot, in all honesty. This is where I spend most of my time. It's just a very comfortable chair for me, and it's very good for wheat bags, things like that. It really helps having that option. I'm playing a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online as well. Just basically sitting around and doing a little bit of crafting, stuff like that. But yeah, all in all, it's been not a great night. So hopefully, after eating, I will feel a bit better. Well, it's about 9 o'clock now. I've managed to eat, which is good. Just had, let's say, just a pizza. Um, so that's pretty good. I've got work tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be well enough for that. And well, I'm going to go for a little walk this evening to try and loosen everything up so I feel a bit better. Generally try and go for a walk most days. So I will catch you on my walk. So just thought I would do a little quick video entry just before I go for the walk, just on my bag. It's a pretty standard bag, but in here I've got my collapsible walking stick. And that's really important. I have my water, I have lots of medications. Whoops. You know, I've got pretty much all my medication in there as well. And I have to take this everywhere I go, because otherwise, you know, if I get out, I need the walking stick sometimes. So, it's really important. Anyway, I'll speak to you again this soon. Hey, I'm out on my walk at the moment. I usually try and do about a 15-minute walk every couple of nights. Some nights are harder than others, of course, but I always head out at night. Because, well, it's cooler for one. Australia is a very hot country, as some of you may know if you live here. But also, I just like walking around at night. I feel more comfortable at night. And also, during the evening, I'm more active, which is unfortunate because, you know, you need to sleep. But basically, the body's warmed up a lot. You know, you don't have the issue of your body needing to warm up. Not much like when you're doing athletics. You know, you need to warm up the body, or racing, something like that. You need to warm up the car, and you know, with my condition, it takes me a long time to warm up. When I'm warmed up, not too bad, and generally that's in the evening. So I usually try and get a walk done around about 9 o'clock at night, depending on time of year, depending on weather as well. If I've been working, I generally don't have a walk because I do my steps at work. But it's a good way of doing it for me. And of course, it keeps me active. One of the biggest problems with the chronic illness, with fibro and chronic fatigue and all that stuff, is you can't keep very active. And, well, if you can manage a 5-10 minute walk every single day, it does help an awful lot. And as I say, doing it at night as well does help because it does tire me out a bit, so I get worn out and then I can actually sometimes sleep a little bit at night rather than staying awake. How well you see the night sky, really, but this is the night sky in Australia at the moment. It's very pretty. You can see a couple of stars, I think. But it's just a good way of stopping your body from basically seizing up. And, you know, it's very hard with these conditions to keep weight down as well. You know, obviously I'm not slim, but this past few months I've managed to drop about 8 kilos. I'm down to 95 now. My main goal is getting to about 90 kilos, I think. You know, 85 I think is the ideal for me, but about 90, if I can manage 90, I'll be pretty happy. of course, it is hard because with tonight, for instance, it took me so long to eat, and I didn't really eat all that well. Um, and that's one of the problematic things. Although I'm active now, so I could have made some food, say, but I'm only active now because I've eaten. So it's a vicious cycle, really. Maybe something lighter, and then I could make something a bit better. But I really didn't feel up for it. A lot of food will make me feel sick sometimes, just the smell of it. So sometimes, you have to be very aware of that. My main diet is probably muesli bars at the moment. I eat them when I can because I can actually sort of process them, and it works out quite well because they're not very strong flavoured and not very strong smell. So they can be very handy to have. Anyway, I will get back to you once I get home. Well, I just got home from my walk and feeling relatively painful right now. And crashing pretty hard, in all honesty. So the plan is now to lay in bed for a bit, watch some stuff, probably take a couple of painkillers and maybe something to help me sleep. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of my day, and that is what a day in the life of a chronically ill person kind of looks like, at least in my world. I hope you kind of enjoyed this video or found it interesting. Please let me know if you want another one of these in the future. My channel, as I say, is mainly history and stuff, but I do the occasional vlog. This is a bit of an experimental one, just doing a day of. I just want to give people an idea of what a disabled person goes through in their day. It's no different really from a normal person, but it's just a lot harder. That's the biggest problem is, we're not any different to anybody else really. It's just everything is much harder for us, basically. We hate to admit it, but it's kind of true. It just, the way it goes, unfortunately. Just got to keep chin up and just keep on rolling. So, as I say, I'll end pretty much here. Let me know below what you think. If you are a fellow Spoonie or chronically ill person, let me know as well. I'd love to hear what your day's like. Let me know if this was a interesting video. And yeah, I will see you again soon for some more videos. As I say, this is not usual content, so unless I get like a couple of million views on it or something, then I'll probably do a few more of these. But for regular stuff, I'll be back to do some more history of soon. Obviously not doing the best at the moment health-wise, so it is making video making a little bit harder than normal. Been doing a couple of different things for the channel, like the movie review and stuff like that, just to keep active, really. But yeah, yeah, have a good day and keep well, everybody. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.